Hello, and welcome to another episode
No one
of
cares.
This Is Our Year. No one gives a fuck.
No one gives a
But
fuck,
that's okay. That's why we're gonna do our
including me.
19th year
By the way,
19th year keeper league keepers reveal on this show because it's all
oh
about us, Doug.
my goodness, it's not even much of a reveal. That I love it. I love it, and for the occasion, I got
Yeah,
the
what are you
super
drinking today?
fresh. The
Is
super
that because I feel
fresh.
like if you
Dougie
were a
Fresh
beer
in the
can, this
house.
would be you. You'd
This
be
is
this beer can.
basically me, except I'm like never in the mountains. I wish I was. This is Peak Organic Brewing Company. It's another goddamn dipper. 8.5% wick dry hopped double A. Fucking gross, right? Um,
So you're gonna be drunk by the
no,
time we get to the halfway mark of this show. I love it.
like local sourcing, bright, juicy hops, certified organic. Where the hell are you from? Peak. I'm guessing Colorado. Hey, look at that, Iowa. No, I'm kidding. Oh shit,
Iowa.
Portland, Maine. I guess they have mountains, but
They have Mount
that
Katahdin.
John
I've
Denver was
actually
full of shit.
I've been to Mount Katahdin. It was interesting. It's interesting.
So anyway,
I whitewater rafted down Mount Katahdin.
in Maine,
Yeah, Maine actually has
nice.
class 5 rapids. Yeah, it was interesting. Very
Oh
interesting
word.
because once you like have you ever been to Maine?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I've been to like what's that town? I think I've been to Portland, and I've been to some like lakes. Where it was all the '90s.
yes. So you get to Portland and then you get about an hour north of Portland and you basically go back to the 1800s. Like
Yeah,
they still shit houses and pissing out houses and
like Stephen King's not
they
fucking around. It's
it I would never live in Maine ever. It's awful. It's cool to go vacation and eat like a lobster roll and go down to their beaches and chill, which I've never done, but
yeah.
I always wanted to do. But living in Maine is probably awful all the time.
Well, yeah, I think right. Like it's a bunch of rich people on the coast, and then motherfuckers who have lived there for like 200 years who barely speak English and do not want to see you. They're
Right. And they
they're
they're
woods in the hills, and that's it.
they're living off the grid in a
Right.
fucking log cabin that their pappy built in 1879.
Well, hold on. Yeah, exactly. But they're not the happy like woods people like Vermont. They're more of
Right.
like a masshole version of that. So it's like kind of a weird combo, right?
So
It,
if
it's it,
you
a
if
little
you were
more
gonna
libertarian.
if you were gonna describe what a masshole is for the Urban Dictionary and the rest of our podcast listeners who may not
Oh,
know,
come on.
well,
Well, a masshole is pretty easy to find when you start with the accent, the Massachusetts accent, and because every region has its assholes, right? But it takes a special kind, and this whole country has been more than introduced to the masshole ever since Tom Brady emerged from his less than stellar pro day. Unfortunately, we have all been subjected to masshole after masshole. Oh, you know what? Bill Simmons too takes some blame here. He's the one who pumped up the pity party for Boston on the internet. Kind of had us go for a couple of years. It was actually really fucking funny when Boston came back from '03 to beat up the Yankees in '04. I was rooting for him, right? Were you rooting for him?
I was.
But yeah, since then I feel like they've cashed their wait, what do you call it? Their whatever was in the bank, so to say. And
Their
I,
equity.
thank you. I first heard masshole about 20 years ago. So I think I'm in Connecticut, so I'm whatever that's called. And I'm better than them really. But if you've been there, if you've hung out with the people, you know what a
Yep.
masshole is. They're
Yep.
half of them are named Sully. Most of them are Irish or pretending to be Italian, whatever.
Yes. Yes. My
Yeah.
wife asked me for whatever reason masshole came up, and I said this guy's a fucking masshole, and she goes masshole, and I said yeah, I'm a driver
Hmm.
from Massachusetts, and she said that's brilliant, and I said the California just you never had to deal with it.
It's taken a while to get over there. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this term's been
Yeah. I
around here for
think
a while. Oh, go ahead.
I think my least favorite city in America in terms of the people, right? Because there's like Detroit is just I
Yeah.
don't want to go to Detroit, right? And I haven't been to Detroit enough to visit it and enjoy.
I
But
don't know the people of
Boston,
Michigan. Yeah.
they're very middle Midwestern, but
Midwestern nice,
yeah,
which is a different
Boston.
kind of asshole.
Yes, exactly. But Boston is the you go to Boston and they're assholes. They're pissed off. They think you know what I
Yeah.
compared it to. This is what I said. So we went to Greece a couple years ago. We were in Athens and we were driving around, and everyone in Athens is so arrogant. Even the fucking cab driver is fat, hairy, driving me around smoking a cigarette with his arm hanging out the window. Looks like he hasn't ironed his shirt in a millennia, and he was an asshole. And I'm like, God, why do these people think that they're so much better than everyone? And it's because where, you know, people say where like modern society was founded, right? In Greece. Philosophers, all this shit.
Oh,
They have
right. Yeah.
this
Okay.
hubris
I,
of
I
like
got,
this where
yeah.
we came from, right?
The cradle of Western civilization. I was going to disagree with you with the Boston. I thought you meant the Boston people, but no. Yeah.
So no,
No, no,
but
Greek.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying is I
Yeah.
believe like Plymouth Rock is not far from Boston, and that's where the pilgrims landed, so they feel like they are the cradle of the United States, right? They've been
Yeah.
around for years and years
Good
and
luck with that,
years.
guys. But like New York has the version of this too. Like like everybody, every masshole you meet is either claims to be from South Boston, or more likely is from like a suburb, but they claim Southie and they talk like a Southie. If you know what a Southie is the original masshole that spread thanks to again
Yes.
the Patriots, Bill Simmons, and the assorted bullshit that's come out of that city in the
And
last two
hold on,
decades.
and Ben Affleck and
Oh God,
Matt
yeah, yeah.
Damon.
No.
So can we
So
blame those two
I
massholes as
don't want
well?
to totally like throw dirt on the massholes because I've intermingled with them a lot, and there's some good people. There's some good people up there. I will give the Affleck brothers credit. I think it was Casey actually who did the Vanilla Nut Taps Dunkin' commercial on Saturday Night Live. If anybody doesn't know what a masshole is at this point, go watch that video. Right, you know
Well,
what I'm
there
talking about, right? With
I have not seen the
the
taps.
Dunkin' commercial they did.
I got
So
to see that.
anyway,
I'll have to pull that up after.
oh geez. So if we have dead time, I'll share it at the end of this show
Perfect.
as a treat. Anyway,
Perfect. I love it.
I forgot what you were talking about. Are you drinking?
I'm not drinking just yet.
You
I
said
just
we
got off.
drink.
I thought I would, but then there was lot going on in the house, and to get us on time to go on air, which we still missed, I sacrificed opening a bottle of wine.
Very disappointed that you don't have a cooler in your bathroom yet, but we'll get to that. So what hat are you wearing today? Oh, look at that, New York Mets. I think.
So let's talk about
Oh,
these guys for
and you got
one
your
second.
Pete Alonso shirt. Yes.
Yeah,
By the way, big football episode, guys. We'll get to it. Give
want to
us
get
a
this
couple
out of the.
minutes on the
I want
Mets.
to
Stupid
get
Mets.
this out of the way. Stupid Mets. They suck. As Hyro just chimed in and said, the
What's
or
up,
is that
Hyra?
Jed? I don't know who that
What's up,
is.
Jed?
I don't know. Let's see. No clue who this is. But anyway,
Jed.
Jow LLC. Maybe mixed together. Um, I will say two things happened. One, there was a lot of rumors coming out saying Polar Bear Pete Alonso is a cancer in the Mets locker room from some stupid media in New
Stop.
York, and then all the beat writers and shut it down and said, "Stop creating content for clicks." So I just want to show our support to the polar bear and say,
Oh man.
fuck you guys that are giving him a bad rap for being a cancer in the locker room. I can't imagine that's the truth. And if it is,
No
I'd
way,
be
right?
very shocked, right? I
That
will
doesn't
say
make
there was,
sense.
it doesn't make sense. Someone did point out the other day that he did an interview after a game winning hit, which I wasn't watching because we don't watch the Mets anymore on this show because they suck.
I watch them a
But,
little.
and he said, "Let's go Mets" instead of "Let's fucking go Mets," and that I think there
Oh
may
boy.
be something to that where the team has asked them to stop using the LFGM, and they didn't want that to be associated with them, and they're those lines, right? And maybe he's a little like, "Come on, like we were cooking." I don't know if there's any discontent with that, but at the end of the day, all I want to say is that's the best power hitter that this fucking team has ever created, better than Daryl Strawberry.
And it's not even close.
Not even
It's not
close.
even. He's going to shatter. Like he stays here 2 more years, he's going to have the all time record.
Right. He's better than Daryl. He's better than David Wright, who wasn't really a
Mm.
power hitter. He was better than David Wright.
The Mets really haven't
Uh,
had Dave Kingman,
no.
maybe. I
Oh, I
mean,
don't. I
Wright
mean,
has
this
some
is the
home
guy.
runs, but
This is the
yeah.
best power hitter that's ever come through our system, and that we've
And
homegrown.
it's insanity that people think we should trade him. What are we doing if we're trading Pete Alonso? I didn't realize this was even kind of an issue this coming into this year, but
I didn't either.
here we
Maybe
are.
and if they trade him, I'll be shocked because you don't trade away 40 home run, 120 RBI
No,
guys. They don't grow on
in
trees.
his 20s. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care
So
about Davis.
I don't know. I just don't see Steve Cohen letting this guy get away for nothing.
No,
That's number one.
no,
That's
no.
number
It would
one.
shock me. I'm in
Shocking.
total agreement.
And so that is going to be the that rolls me to my second point, which is Ken Rosenthal wrote a big article today about this and what they're going to do. And Ken Rosenthal is, the baseball insider on The Athletic, on MLB Game of the Week, right? He is a respected guy. He's a little short
Yes,
midget with a bow tie, but everyone respects what he writes, right? He
I
doesn't.
believe
He
he
is
stood up
not.
to Fox or something, and like everybody rallied around him. I forget
Yep,
who it was, but anyway,
yep. That happened. I think it was ESPN, but that also
yes,
happened.
yeah,
And so at the end of the day, he came out with a big article today saying what the Mets are going to do in free agency. And he was really, I didn't read all of it. I read the headlines, I read the captions, right? But it's exactly what the fuck I've been saying. There is no fucking way in hell that the Mets are going to have take a backseat in free agency this coming year.
yeah. There's no rebuild here, guys.
No,
Sorry,
we
I
told
think we already
Max.
did rebuild.
Yep, we rebuilt in 24 hours. We told Max and we told Justin what we needed to tell them to
Yeah,
get them to drop their because we were
that's
seeing the
business.
decline of two 40-year-old pitchers, and we wanted to move them when they were at the height peak of their market, which is what Steve Cohen has done greatest throughout his career. And Ken Rosenthal said there is no way that the owner with the biggest amount of money to spend isn't going to be in on Otani. And that was
Right.
from Ken Rosenthal's mouth himself. So I don't know if we're going to get him, but like I've said on this show, no one's going to be able to offer him more money. So if it's all
Right.
about the money, he's coming to the Mets. If it's
Yeah.
about being somewhere else, that's not that. Then I
Well,
can't help with that.
I mean, like if it's all about the money, maybe the Mets get it. It'll be a bidding war. But this isn't Fred Wilpon. Right? So to your point, yeah, if Otani expresses interest in us bidding, they're going to bid, and I'm sure we'll bid either way. We're gonna like, will we get him? I don't know,
I don't know, but the
but
fact of the matter is,
probably
like you
not.
said,
Honestly, probably not. Let's not get excited, but
hey man, it just I'm not excited about anything, but I'm just gonna tell you that no one can outbid Steve Cohen. No one's going to outbid Steve Cohen, and Steve Cohen will not be outbid. Now, will he walk away from a deal? I don't
oh
think
yeah.
so. I don't think Cohen will walk away from a deal
Well,
unless
no, no.
there's some.
I thought you meant a negotiation that gets
I
crazy.
don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't think so. Why would you?
Wow.
The guy is the best player, generational player. He is going to sell more jerseys domestically, internationally than anywhere else when that new Mets Otani jersey comes out.
Would you give him like 10 60 a year, so like 10 600 mil or something like that, or even
Yeah,
higher? Yeah,
yeah. Why not?
I think I would.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know. Scherzer
He's such a
and
unicorn,
Max
man.
just got
So like,
43 million, right? And they were like
yeah.
old pitchers, so
I mean, when you put it that way, yeah.
that's gonna be the floor, right? And now you're talking about a guy that can be your everyday DH or outfielder and pitch
and,
on the
and
fifth
is a
day, right?
borderline ace. Yeah,
Right. So that guy, give him 1060. Why not 600 million? I don't
1070,
know.
whatever. Okay.
Whatever,
That,
man.
that that
Doesn't
that motherfucker's getting paid though, as we know.
He is, and I'm here for it. Anyone that wants to say that the Mets aren't going to be involved is only their only reason they won't be involved would be that Otani says, "I'm not coming to New York. I'm out." And there's no reason why he would fucking say that because he knows that the Mets are going to drive his cost up, even if he doesn't want to go there. So the only reason he wouldn't come is if he doesn't want to come, and he takes less money to not come, in my opinion.
All right.
So
You heard
you heard it
you
here,
heard it here
a
first.
hundredth, a hundredth.
You heard it
So
here
hold on, I'm
100th.
gonna do a quick wardrobe change.
All righty. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Wow, he's back. The magic of
First
special
ever,
effects.
first ever wardrobe change in the history of This Is Our Year. Maybe that's not true. So
Probably.
let's talk a little football, Doug. Let's talk
All
about
right. Yeah,
these New York
because
Jets.
the New York motherfucking Jets are on HBO.
Did you
Thoughts?
watch?
Yes.
What'd you think from an outsider's view?
I gotta preface this with because I'm a curmudgeon. I find these these things extremely boring, and it's just a bunch of people doing this. It's a PR video mostly. It was kind of interesting like 10 years ago when this show first broke. So just let me get this disclaimer out of the way. This is all horseshit, right? Do we all agree? Like, anyway, they're putting on a good show. I wanted to contrast the show with what we're going to do later, when we're going to read Jets fans' comments about their own team from the Why Your Team's article this year, which is one of my favorite things ever. But yeah, no, let's start with the show. How do you think Aaron did? You're the Jets fan. Talk to us about the show or the
Well, I
episode.
will tell you first and foremost, I had no idea that Liv Schreiber was the voice
Oh
of
yeah,
Hard Knocks. I couldn't have guessed that in a million years. Um, but that was kind
yeah,
of cool that he flew in and
with the
did whatever.
helicopter. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it was entertaining.
normal training camp shit.
Right. It was entertaining. That's my fear is like, please just stay focused. And apparently, Rogers and
It's
Salah got him focused. So it was
it's
cool,
it's the
man.
T. It could be the Tebow summer again. We all. That's when everything really got fucking bad on
Yes.
ESPN.
I mean, we haven't made it playoffs since
We
that
haven't.
happened. So,
No.
no,
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 you guys have paid so bad, and I just remember like the ESPN coverage of Tebow just being wall to wall, like every goddamn day in
yeah,
preseason, right?
yeah, yep,
Oh my
yep.
god.
It's fucking
Anyway,
awful. I mean, hey, man, it's the 80-20 rule, right? Coverage
yep.
on TiVo, and you're going to get all the middle of the country Bible beaters to watch, and
Hmm.
it's going to be awesome. So,
They're the people that
um,
matter.
I mean, they watch a lot of
They're
TV.
they're the silent majority. Anyway, uh, Robert Sala seems like a really good guy. I think we already knew this. That's what I take away. Um,
Yeah, he's cool. I think
it,
the coaches
I,
are
I
cool.
I don't want to get into the Peyton Nathaniel Hackett thing, but it is fucking hilarious that Nathaniel Hackett is now on the Jets. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But if Aaron's got his guy, right? How do you feel about Nathaniel Hackett? I know we've talked
I
about
mean,
this, but
with no Nathaniel Hackett, there would be no Aaron Rodgers, 100%. So
I thought
I
that was
love,
all Mike McCarthy. No, I'm just kidding,
I
joking again.
I
Uh,
love Nathaniel Hackett.
okay,
I love him. His
I,
father used to be our
they're on record.
offensive coordinator. Yeah,
The immortal Paul.
yeah. I hated Paul Hackett. He was West Coast guy. Never talked.
Hmm.
Bald. He was bald with like the hair around.
Oh yeah,
He had the full bald
I
head
think
with the hair around the
Holmgren
side.
had that for a while too.
Yeah. No, he
Did
didn't
he
even have the
coach
comb over.
USC or something? Oh no, that's right, he didn't.
He had just like
Yeah,
the
he just
straight
let
bald
it
on
go.
top with like the bushy sides, and he was always a booth OC, and I always think booth OCs are kind of lame, because I
I
want them on the
agree.
field. But now and later on, I guess it doesn't matter because they can see the field better from up top,
Yeah,
right? So,
fine.
but yeah, yeah. So Paul Hackett was terrible. Oh
What were
man,
we talking about? Other than that, it was a bunch of one-liners. It was like Aaron Rodgers trying to be funny. Oh, naked clowns. That's wild, man. I'm trying to remember what else. I watched it at work.
it was fine, man. It was fine. It was just, the production. If you're watching it for production and the angles they get and all that shit, that's cool.
Yeah,
They were all
yeah,
up
no doubt.
Rogers' ass, but Rogers seems like he's having fun, and
He
I don't know if
does.
it's a show or not, like a fake for the cameras or not, and I don't really care. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just don't want it to be a distraction, and
Well,
let him do his
absolutely.
thing and get his time in with his team and get moving in the right direction.
As a Jets fan, that's probably all you want to see right now. You don't want to. He's being a good soldier. He took his pay cut. He's being nice to everybody. He's not being weird. He hasn't been weird in a few months, right? Unless I'm forgetting something.
I don't think he's ever been weird. I don't know what this hang up with you thinking he is weird is. He was fucking
We'll get to the comments soon, but
okay. Okay.
but he hasn't been on Rogan or McAfee doing any weird shit in a while. Okay,
I don't know. Maybe I don't watch those shows.
no, yeah,
But
all right.
why don't you read it? Let's read it.
Well, anyway, if you guys don't know why your team sucks, is I'm gonna put some quotes up for you guys, but um, there's a guy named Drew McGarry. He's a writer. He was on Deadspin. Now he's on this thing called Defector. But every year for like the last decade, he basically roasts every team before the season in reverse order of their record. So the Jets are usually in the first week. To their credit, I think they made it to week 2 this year.
Week 2.
It's progress. It's progress. Giants haven't gone yet. I think the Patriots go next, so we can have fun with that one too next week. We'll definitely do a Giants one, fair and balanced. I can't wait. Actually, I love ripping on the organization and the fans and the stadium, and I think you can agree with me on that one. So, without further ado, I'm just gonna. We're a high tech operation here. I'm just gonna share my. No, I'm not. I'm gonna share my show notes with you guys because just in case you don't want to read along with me. Let's see if this works, Mike. We haven't really shared much on this or used graphics.
No, very bare bones. Oh shit! Well, we got some keepers up here. The big reveal before the reveal.
Oh shit! This is the wrong sheet. My bad. You're gonna have to give me a second on this. In the meantime, though,
I think you should just read them. Just read them.
Let's just read them. All right,
just read the funny ones.
I got them on this other screen here. Let me just make sure I can see them without my fucking glasses. All right. So I skipped the parts that Drew did. I'm going to get you the subscription. If anybody wants to read all of these, there's 30 of them. They're on the defector.com. Unfortunately, it's paywalled, but it's like $60 for a year, and it's actually like a kind of a funny site. So it's not very serious, but it does attack some serious issues. But it's kind of an antidote to like CBS or ESPN. Anyway, my favorite part of these articles are when the actual fans of the team write in as they're instructed to roast their team. So this isn't opposing fans' teams. This is Jets fans talking about their misery. Here we go. They have never played in a Super Bowl as an NFL team. They have never won the AFC Championship. They are the only AFL team who has it. Let's think about that for a minute. Man hadn't walked on the moon last time the Jets won a Super Bowl. Just feel free to jump in whenever you want for all these. The Jets finally had a draft where everything just went absolutely right, and it didn't matter. That's obviously referring to last year, but going forward, they did have an amazing draft last year. That was.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, Houston, Derek Stingley over Sauce.
Fail.
Good grief. All right. I like this one because this is from a guy named Mike. Why couldn't I have been, or why couldn't I have grown up a Giants fan? You want to admit it yet, or you still?
No, I know exactly why I'm not a Giants fan. It's my father's fault. It's because he was a Giants fan, and I wanted to go again.
There's no choice with us. I like this one a lot. Our most famous fan is the only fireman people don't like.
I mean, I don't like him. Everyone hates him. He quit on a team.
Are there any other firemen that people don't like in general? I think he might be the only one. That is a great point. All right. We'll keep it moving. I think Joe Rogan is our director of media relations, and a bottle of Nugenics is our strength and conditioning coach. Got to look forward to. This is for both of us. MetLife Stadium was designed out of spite. I believe it.
It looks like a fucking air conditioner.
Oh God, I've been there. I've been to one Giants game since it opened, by the way, on purpose. Now we've got an aging wannabe podcast mystic at quarterback, and I'm thinking they have a shot at the division. I hate myself. Um, I've dated two Jets fans. Both were recovering teenage alcoholics. Keeps Robert Saladin to succeed. He seems like a good man of faith and conviction. The Jets will break him like a child breaks a cheap toy from the dollar store. Fair?
I mean, I hope that's not true, but
All right, fine. You'll like this one. And this one's short and sweet. Woody Johnson, move cat, is a total raging asshole. Agree?
that is accurate. Yes.
Okay. All right, we got one. All right. Now we got some stories. My first trip to an NFL game was the last game Brett Favre played for the Jets, so I know how this season ends. Shirtless New Jerseyans shouting, "Bill Cowher!" Remember that guy? Bill Cowher to save them while fighting each other for no clear reason. Sound about right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And all right, finally, there's nothing funnier to me than Aaron Rodgers, the league's loudest and outspoken voice against Big Pharma, emerged from his darkness retreat with the ironclad conviction that he must play football again for Whody Johnson. I could share more, and by the way, Drew's part is great, but we have limitations on this show. And hey, there's a cat, so I'm going to drink.
Yes, you
And
definitely
any
don't
thoughts
drink.
in general on the roast, or was
No,
that
I mean
weak?
it's funny. It's funny. It's all true. No, I don't think it's weak. I think the irony of your last quote is hilarious. Whoever wrote that hat tip, I'm sure what Drew wrote is
Yes,
hilarious as well. Um,
he
I
definitely made a
j-
9/11 reference, so it's spicy. But yeah,
yeah, I mean the team is until proven otherwise cursed and garbage, right? Everyone thinks Broadway Joe made a deal with the devil. I think there was also a deal with the devil when we brought Tebow in.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
I
what
mean
to
that
think
was just
of
dumb.
it.
Oh, one I didn't include was that we have a Super Bowl win, but somehow the guy who's won the most playoff games in the franchise is Mark Sanchez. That's another fun stat.
Yep. Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that
All
was
right.
probably the best 2 year run ever.
So
So
to the Jets, and again, we're just having some fun. I'm not a Jets hater. The Giants Jets don't really. Um,
no.
am I a little skeptical? I'll always be.
Yeah,
I think all
I
opposing fans will be of you guys, but
yeah, I think from your point of view, you definitely hate Aaron Rodgers, and I can tell you,
I don't know if I hate
you
him, but he's kind of been a clown show, and he might be overrated at this stage. And
I don't
actually,
know.
Drew gets into like how he might not be good anymore. That's what he kind of
I
focuses on.
I don't think so, man. If you've been watching
He
him
can still
practice,
make throws, I think.
he so back to my defense of Aaron Rodgers. The last two times he was working under Nathaniel Hackett, which was only 3 and 2 years ago, he was the league fucking MVP back to back. Last year, he had a new offensive coordinator and he broke his thumb in week 4 against the Giants, smashing it on someone's head.
Yeah.
And he played through that
What's
for
up,
the
Dexter
next
Lawrence? I'm guessing who that.
he
I'm
he
guessing it was
played through
Dex.
the next 12 weeks. And so he went out there and he almost brought his team back from the dead and just
He had a
couldn't
real
beat the
shitty
Lions.
supporting cast too. His
Yes, I
receivers
mean
sucked last year.
his team, and Mike Lafleur, or not Mike Lafleur, Matt Lafleur, calling plays last year was not as great as it should have been. The things that what I don't understand about the Green Bay Packers, and I don't, this is I feel like they come up just as much as the Arizona Coyotes or the Phoenix Coyotes do on this
I
show,
don't know about that,
but
but
but Matt
hey,
Matt
good job on the
Lafleur,
new arena in Mesa, guys. Yeah, I guess you're
that's right.
staying.
Matt Lafleur, I didn't even see that, but Goot Kirst and Matt Lafleur, like they have done everything they could to fuck that franchise up. You got a quarterback who was the MVP 2 years in a row. Maybe after the first MVP year, draft him a wide receiver or a running back or an offensive lineman or something. They just went all defense because they don't care. They follow this stupid plan. And then Matt LaFleur takes over play calling from Hackett and he wants to change the offense. It's like this motherfucker just went back to back MVPs. Let's change the offense. Stupid. It didn't make any fucking sense. And that's why they didn't make the playoffs last year. Plus, he broke his thumb. So, was Aaron a headache out there for the last 5 years? Yes. You know why? Because they drafted his replacement in the first round when he was 35 years old. And then he went on to go on the Aaron Rodgers fuck you tour and win back
Yeah,
to back MVPs. So,
that
you
that that,
guys,
that really shook him. The Jordan Love thing, didn't it?
I mean, dude, like if he was 38 or 39, I think he could have understood it, but he was like, I
Hmm.
got at least 3 more years left. Why are you not getting me a fucking receiver? And they
Yeah,
also traded, by the way, his number one target away last year in Devontae, right? And
yeah.
Devontae
He
said,
he,
I don't
he
want to be
looked a
here
little
anymore.
lost without Devontae. By the way, I could see Garrett being his Devontae. So
Definitely.
no,
So,
this is why I'm not predicting doom and gloom for you guys. I don't think it's guaranteed success though, if that makes sense.
yeah, I think this year may be the year that they start to gel, and next year will be the really the hype
Yeah,
train. But who knows? Who
I
fucking
think he's
knows?
kind of an injury risk too, but you can't really
Well, I
bank
mean,
on
if
that
we don't
either way.
shore up our offensive line, it doesn't matter who we put back there. But that's a whole
Right?
other fucking
Yeah,
story.
that was mentioned too.
Yeah,
That you guys kind of like beefed up on the DL as you defensive line as usual, which is your
right,
shit. Like you guys always
right,
have mad defensive linemen, but
right. Lead the league in
the
defensive
tackle
lineman trash.
situation isn't great, right?
It's not great. It is definitely not great. So, all right,
Um,
Douglas, we've spent half the show talking about all this shit.
all right, let's do some more
Let's get into the
football.
meat and potatoes fantasy football keeper league review. So let's just
Mom,
give a
mom, that means you could stop watching now.
let's give a quick review on what is how long it's
Yeah.
been in existence,
And
etc.
actually, since you came up with the rules, I'm the current commish, obviously, but I would like you to you made these rules. Why don't you talk through them? These
Okay,
were made in 2006, by the way.
so what year are we in? Is this year 18 or
This is
19?
year 18.
So we're 18 years deep in this league.
This,
Uh,
yeah, this particular version, yes. We were talking about whether my titles from earlier count, but either
Clearly,
way.
there's an asterisk next to your titles.
Hmm.
But I have 4 titles in this league. If the asterisk is there, Doug has 3. If it's not there, then he has 2. And no one else has more than 2. Is that correct?
Again, I appreciate you bumping me up a little. Yeah, that is correct, by the way. There are people with 2, I think. I think EB maybe.
Oh, maybe. And doesn't Dave? No, cousin Dave only has 1. I don't know.
It's EB and it's might be Horseman. Is it Megone?
No, I think Mark only has 1. I think Mark
That's
only has 1.
crazy. Because
And Josh
Horseman. Josh only has
Rosen,
1.
Josh
Those are
Rosen,
2 good players, but yeah, Snake
who
bit.
is a lifer, finally got his first. He got off the there.
Yeah,
Uh,
what sucks is I'm looking at this list here, and because people change their names, it's just like not immediate.
Josh is
Steamers.
chiming in. He's saying, Dave, that maybe Steamers has 2 as well. He's had a couple of. Yeah, I think cousin Dave had one with Michael Vick back in the day, and then he had one a couple years ago when
No,
he
I only
had
see
some.
one for Dave.
Maybe that Michael Vick one was.
No, I
Oh,
was Michael Vick in 06.
oh, maybe there's no one with multiple except for you and me.
And EB, I think.
NEB, yes. So
Pittsburgh
without
Pirates and the Pennsylvania Altar Boys. Ooh.
oh, he's definitely part of the reason why the tanking rules are coming into play this
Or
year.
no. I'm sorry. He was my troop leader. Loves me, not Pennsylvania. Sorry. Got to correct
I
that.
think he was actually all of those. No,
No, the Altar Boys was I think
they can.
Tim.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Either way, yeah, we're making shirts.
no,
We thought about making the worst team have to wear the shirt of their team name to the draft. Obviously, the champ renames the team for the next year, but we were having public drafts, and we didn't want someone with like my troop leader loves me going into a public restroom. So
right.
anyway,
So
so keeper
these are the
rules.
major rules. These are major rules. You get to keep one player, no matter what, whoever you want. That's your
Yeah,
franchise.
whoever
You
you
get to
want is your
keep.
franchise who cannot be traded during the year. New rule this year.
New rule this year. Don't like it, but commish
You're gonna
and
love
league
it. You're
and
gonna love
league
it.
the commission, the league, voted.
Everybody except you loves it, by the way. So sorry.
Hey, yeah, I will stick with that's a consensus lead. Second is a guy that has 2 years or less in the league. Going into his third year, you can keep him as a 2 and under.
So yeah, so guys drafted in either 2021, 2022 for
Correct.
this year.
And or you can keep the final keeper as anyone that you drafted in the 7th round or later or picked up off of waivers.
Last year, obviously. So yeah, well,
And in
this
reality,
was
the 7th round is more like the 9th round, give or
ninth or
take.
10th, right?
9th or 10th round. It's
Actually,
somewhere in that.
by then it's like 10th because all the keepers are up there anyway.
Right. So I would say it's more like the 10th round.
Yeah,
So
so
because
like
most of the keepers would be gone by the 10th round.
so kind of a
Yep.
hidden gem thing. I know most people or most leagues do either like draft pick last year or just don't do keepers or have a dynasty.
Right.
So this has been a unique league. I love, by the way, I love all you guys who are in the league. I love how it's still going. People seem to
18
like it.
years.
So shit, 18 years is something. So a
We
big
started
ups to,
this in my mid 20s and your
yeah,
mid 20s. And here
big
we
ups
are
to
in our mid
everybody.
40s.
And I think right now, and I've said this before, I know, but I know without a doubt that right now we have the best pack of owners that we've ever had. So cheers to you guys.
Cheers to you guys.
So without further ado, let's talk about 2023 fantasy fucking football. I cannot wait to get my blood pressure up to the unsafe levels that my doctor always tells me about during Sunday. You want me to
Yes.
share?
Let's share. Let's talk about it. Let's share it. And then I'll give you the reveal of mine. And I will definitely be shitting on a quarter of these.
All
Hopefully, you'll be
right.
joining me.
I like it. So you want to go down the list here?
Yes. So Shake and Bake, he finished in last place. He will have a new name. It'll probably be something to do with anal of some sort.
Yeah, let's. Hopefully we can get away from the pedophilia for a year.
That would be
It's
nice.
like AI is going to start attaching it to my like whatever profile, and it's not. It's going to end with me in a gulag somewhere in 2030.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Need that, do we? All right.
So Shake and Bake, keeping Brees Hall as his franchise. I don't know if that was the best of franchise picks, but
I will take a look at rosters just in case there are any oversights, but yeah.
Najee Harris, who I believe is
So those guys are interchangeable. They're both, I think, 2 and under. Brees,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Brees
so
and
maybe
Najee,
that's
obviously.
maybe it's the other way around. I don't
So
know.
it could be, either way.
Michael Thomas. So how do we feel about these keepers right here?
Let's take a look at his roster. He's not keeping Cam Akers. He's not keeping. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's not a. I don't think this is a bad keep for the league at all. Michael Thomas is a little suspect, right? I don't
Yeah, I
believe
don't.
in him,
I think
but
he's done.
it's a dart throw. I mean, for the third keeper, that's fine. He did not have much to work with here. I think, yeah, he sold the farm last year, so not bad. I
Not
think
bad.
he has a bunch of picks, so I think he'll be all right. EPO, John O'Keefe. How you feeling?
John O'Keefe, Jonathan Taylor, George Pickens, James Cook. I think it's a nice young team. James Cook is a guy that could be a breakout
I
this
like
year.
him this year. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially with Hines down, and I hear he's taken first team reps. Zach Moss is hurt.
yeah.
Who's left?
Zach Moss got traded. I thought. I believe he got
Oh
traded to
no no.
Indianapolis
Who am I
for
thinking of?
Naheem Hines. The other guy that they have up there is Damian Harris, the
Yeah, I'm
former
sorry.
Patriots back.
Same
He
thing.
may be a
He's not
vulture,
hurt.
but he's questionable. But
Yeah.
he may be a touchdown vulture, but so may Josh Allen. So who knows?
So
But
maybe,
I still think
and they
that
have
I
like
still think
Latavius Murray, I think, who I'm probably going to cut in Dynasty. So
yeah.
yeah,
James Cook is the guy that I think we feel like could be a breakout. George Pickens had a good rookie year. I think he'd have a great
I
year.
love him as a player. So how do you feel about fantasy players who can just ball that aren't in the greatest situations? Because well, we'll get to mine, but I had this conundrum.
I feel like fantasy players that can ball that are in a bad situation. It just depends on how bad the situation is.
Kenny Pickett.
There's I wouldn't keep Kenny Pickett. I don't think Kenny
No,
Pickett's
but
gonna.
like Kenny Pickett's thrown to George Pickens, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but George Pickens is still gonna get a good portion of that target share, right?
Yeah.
Because who's the guy that everyone hates on every year that plays for
I
them?
love Deontay too, actually. I love both of those guys. I've always been a
Yeah,
Deontay Johnson fan, but I've never
interesting.
owned him, so he's never made me mad.
All right, all right. Well, I think Jonathan Taylor speaks for himself.
Well,
Yeah,
that's kind of a mess, right?
yeah. If
Right
he
now,
if he comes back and plays or gets traded, it'll be interesting. So, um,
fucking running backs.
fucking running backs.
We'll have more thoughts on running backs this year, but we'll get to the next one here. Mr. Tim Jeffries.
D. Lamb, good keeper.
Yeah, love him.
Going to be a top 10 wide receiver for sure. Maybe top
Easy.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damian Pierce. Uh,
Well,
he
let's.
started off really well and then slowed down at the end of the year.
Are we worried
But
about Devin Singletary down there?
I think he's going to take some carries away from Pierce. Pierce didn't have anyone to share the load with, and I think he wore out by the end of the
Yeah.
year and wasn't as great as he could have been. But I think he's going to get all the touchdown, goal line carries, which has some value. But Houston's going to stink this year, so I don't know how much value that is. So we'll see. Maybe if he can run like he ran in the beginning of last year, he's going to be great. And
Okay.
then Trevor
So,
Lawrence. Go
oh
ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
Trevor. Yeah. Sorry. No, you're right. Trevor Lawrence coming into his own. Can't really argue with that. Top
Nope.
10 quarterback, right?
Top 10 quarterback. Top 10 quarterback.
Now, but before we get to yours, you said you were going to trash some of these. Are those first 9? Are you trashing anybody?
I mean Michael Thomas over. I don't know if he could have kept Cam Akers. If he could have,
Probably
that's
not.
yeah.
The other
Then
options are Paris Campbell, maybe Traylon Burks, but he might have been drafted earlier.
I don't know, but Michael Thomas stinks. So that, but
There
that's a
you go.
seventh or later, like you said, a dart throw.
That that's what we're
Uh,
looking for.
and Brees Hall, Najee Harris. I guess you have to keep those guys. I'm not a big.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think
tough spot
Brees
there.
Brees is probably going to miss the first 4 weeks, so that's tough. But I also probably wouldn't give him up.
Yeah,
Um, but Najee
because he's got
Harris,
another year of control next year under our rules.
exactly. Yeah, and if James is
So yeah,
coming
that's a
back,
no-brainer to me, Brees. But
yeah.
yeah,
But Najee Harris, I think is not as good as everyone thinks he is. I think he's kind of
no.
garbage.
So
So
what we're looking at is a complete teardown and what's left when you trade basically everything that's not bolted down, and that's what you end up keeping. However, he's going to draft Bijan,
most
or
likely, right?
actually,
Well, we don't know yet because we have the
unless he loses
lottery,
a lottery.
right?
So like he might have this like insane 3 running back attack. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So
And
all
then
right,
your brother's picks, EPO, like Taylor's a no brainer. Pickens, I like. Cook is
yeah.
definitely a no brainer.
I mean, you don't feel
For
great about Taylor right now, but you got to do it. So
I mean, he's going to play this year, and he's going to play somewhere, and he's going to put up big numbers wherever he plays as long as he stays healthy. CD Lamb is definitely a keeper. Damian Pierce is worth what we're keeping him where he's at, and Trevor
classic kind of
Lawrence.
keeper in our league.
Yeah.
I don't really have an issue here either with any of
Nope.
these except maybe Michael Thomas. But again, I get it.
Right.
It might as well take a home run swing. Hold that thought on home run swings. All right, Mike, who you got?
For my franchise player will be Justin Jefferson, who I
Big
so
surprise.
adeptly drafted 4 years ago because I'm fucking great at drafting.
Lucky.
For my two and under, I will be keeping Christian Watson
Okay.
and the wide
Wow.
receiver from Green Bay. And for my seventh or later, I'll be keeping Calvin Ridley. So
Okay, so I like the third one more than the second, but let's take a look at what you're working with.
I could have kept Elijah Moore or Kyle Pitts over Christian
Ooh.
Watson, but Kyle Pitts has never performed, and he's on a team that runs the ball 1,000 times a year. So I learned that lesson the hard way last year when I drafted him in the first round, which is why I was in the bottom 4.
And oh
Uh,
man, I remember when I was like, I might even draft Kyle Pitts at like 10.
that's why I did it. And so,
It worked.
um,
I'm kidding.
and
Uh,
Elijah Moore is going to be the third most targets on a team that also runs about 1,000 times more than passes. And Calvin Ridley is, we're talking about Christian Watson. Christian Watson is Jordan Love's number one receiver. And he did some fucking amazing things once he stayed healthy last year with Aaron Rodgers. And he was a workout warrior. And I think he is going to be the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers, because I think Garrett Wilson will be the best out of that class last year. So can make a lot of people.
I mean, I gotta say, Watson over Pitts, which I believe would be the decision here, right?
Mhm.
Is quite the call.
Oh, Pitts hasn't
Are
ever done anything in that offense, and he's got Desmond Ritter throwing to him, which
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Desmond Ritter's going to be good, but I
Did you
can tell you,
did you like what you're seeing with Jordan Love?
yeah, I think Jordan Love has been in the offense for 4 years now. They've tailored it to him. He looked okay in what he did last year. He's got some ability. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We will see, right? But he's not some rookie that doesn't know what's going on. This is his fifth year, fourth year. So he's
Who?
gonna Jordan
Oh,
Love.
Love. Yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah,
thought you
so
meant
he's
Watson for a second.
he's been in the system. And Watson was a freak last year. He's a 6'2", 220-pound receiver with 4.3 speed, and he showed the ability to separate like nobody else last year in the draft. That in the during the season. So I think that I like the fact that I got
More than
three.
Olave, huh? Wow.
I I like the fact that I got three number one wide receivers going into the season, and we'll see how they pan out. So
Word up. I hate it. I'm kidding. No, I mean, again, looking at your roster, I do love the Ridley keep. Uh, whoops, people are going to be saying that he's going to have kind of like the Christian Kirk share. We'll see though. I think Kirk's still there. Um, Other than that, your roster is garbage, sir. So
thank you.
good job.
My roster's garbage. Oh, like my dumped
From last
roster.
year. Yeah,
Yes,
you're
I dumped everybody. I
yeah,
traded
no,
everything that wasn't bolted down, like you said.
of course.
So
All right, so on to chicken heads. Unfortunately, I had to let him know today, Brandon. Sorry, but I looked this up and it surprised me too. But Isaiah Pacheco was actually taken in the sixth, so he's working on his third keeper. But we have
got it.
Travis Kelsey. It's absolutely no brainer. I
Right.
should have just kept him all along over fucking Joe Mixon, but whatever. Um, Whoops, I just went on the wrong team. And who we got? Help me out here. Ramondre.
Ramondre
Thoughts on
Stevenson.
Ramondre, Mike?
I mean, he's going to be the clear cut guy there now, and that team is going to be pretty bad if I had to guess. And so he's probably going to run the ball a lot because Belichick likes to run the ball. Their quarterback is not great. Their receivers are even worse than that. So I think, Belichick likes to control the clock. He's going to try and probably do that. And he was great last year. And now that Damian Harris is out of the way, he's the clear cut one, and Pierre
Yeah,
Strong is probably their number two. And the only thing that scares me is that Belichick running backs
I know.
it never turns out the way you think it's
You
going to.
never know. Who was
So
that guy's
yeah,
name? Like Josiah Gray. Remember that year where that guy just showed up for like 3 games and had like 200 yards and then was never heard from again? Like
yes, they've
Belichick
always
gets
had
weird.
some undrafted running back that was like
Yeah.
17th on the
Jonah
depth
Gray,
chart.
I think.
Jonah Gray. I mean, fucking Lawrence Maroney. They drafted him in the first
Yeah,
round. I tied my
he
fucking
sucked.
franchise to him. He was worse than Trent Richardson, who I also drafted.
I don't know
So,
about that. That guy was
oh my
historically
god,
bad.
oh my
Don't worry.
god.
I have my what was the guy's name? Ryan Matthews. I should have known with the name Ryan Matthews, man. He's gonna be a fucking anyway. So yeah, look, he might trade for a guy or might keep like Donovan People Jones or Tyler Algier. It's kind of bleak on his roster.
Yeah.
And any other thoughts on that one, or we want to move on?
I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's TBD still. He's got till tomorrow.
Yeah,
So then we got cousin Dave here.
Vilsekis. He's got some interesting players here.
Eckler, Wilson, Madison. I think that's a pretty solid threesome right there.
Yeah,
Eckler
I,
is
th-
going to
I
be the top guy in San Diego. He's going to catch a million balls. Garrett Wilson is a
man.
stud.
So let's talk about Austin because like a couple of years ago, people were like, "Is he a full time guy?" It turns out this guy's a super. Sucks. I really wanted to draft him last year. I missed him by a pick or something, or maybe that was 2 years ago. Um, I can't get enough of Austin Eckler in this offense. So famous last words, Dave. Sorry, just cursed him. And yeah, man. And Garrett Wilson, I'll leave that to you, but he's a badass.
I
I
think
think we
he's going
all
to be
agree.
one of the top 5 receiver in the league in the next 2 years,
I'd agree with
if
that.
he isn't already. Alexander
Everything he
Madison,
showed
yeah, he was great last year, and now he's got a quarterback that can actually
with,
throw him the
yeah.
ball.
Okay, can we review the poo poo platter that actually threw passes for the Jets last year? Because apparently it's 4 players. Do you remember all 4?
It was Joe Flacco, it was Mike White, it was Zach Wilson, and it was Chris Streveler.
You nailed it,
I don't know if Streveler ever
Chris.
threw a pass.
I'm not sure if Chris Streveler is a real person. I was hoping you would back me up on that because I read it in the article.
Yeah, he is a
That's a
real
real guy.
person. He is like a
Okay.
folk hero. Every year that your team has a fucking fourth string quarterback that everyone falls in love with, that's who he was. He just got
See,
cut.
I thought that was Mike White though. You guys have too many
He
of
was
them.
the new Mike White because Mike White was the fourth string quarterback last year. So yeah, we
He wasn't. He was the third or second. I don't know. Anyway, a new era. And Alexander Madison, kind of a no brainer.
I mean, the only thing I'll say about that is, they're saying Kareem Hunt is on his way there
Mm.
to um, visit with them
Well, it
and
kind of makes sense when you look at their backups. Like Ty
with
Chandler
their
hasn't taken
backups.
any handoffs really,
No, Ty
and
Chandler, and then I
and
drafted
Kenny,
Dwayne McBride and Kenny
yeah,
Ochugwa or whatever. None of
right.
those guys are exciting. So
They have
they
zero
definitely
experience
need
too.
definitely need a backup. So
Yep.
I don't
Yeah.
hate it though. I think he's got 2 starting running backs, which is more than most people can say
All
that are
right.
healthy to start the year.
Let's bring
Okay, Doug.
on the hate.
Yes. Can you bring up your team so that we can talk about who you didn't choose? This
Um.
was this one. I saw this earlier today, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
Jerry Judy as your franchise pick. What the fuck, Doug?
Yeah,
What the
dude.
actual
Let's
fuck? You
go.
didn't want to spend a draft pick to get a better player than Jerry Judy?
I don't have draft picks.
Who else could you have kept over Jerry Judy? I need to understand this.
We'll get into this, but in the meantime, I'm trying to remember my CVS password because I'm not logged in on fucking Chrome here. No, you know what? I'll talk you through this. So let's start. Let's start the obvious one, and I think
Well,
for all
let's cut to this real quick though, because Jamar Chase, fucking brainer, great,
that's my
great,
franchise.
right,
I'm working the rules here. Obviously, he's my franchise, but I can use him as a 2.
right.
So that helps me out in other spots. And
Eh,
let's talk about Justin Fields real quick. One of the
No,
hottest quarterback, 1,100
he's
yards rushing in 13 games last year. If he can just repeat that, that's my strategy for the 0R running back approach here. Like I can get those rushing yards from him, hopefully. And then hopefully he's also like a decent enough quarterback to be like a low end 1 guy. I don't know if that's going to work for me, but again, I'm picking once in the top 40 picks this year. So
ouch.
I'm taking Happy Gilmore swings here.
Hey man,
So
Justin Fields is a top 10
yeah,
quarterback, and the thing I like about Fields is they brought in a bunch of help for him. He had
yes.
nobody last year. He had
Finally
Mooney.
they have a receiver.
Yes, they have 3 receivers
Um,
now, right?
well,
So
yeah, but like a real one, like in DJ Moore, and no disrespect to Darnell Mooney because I kind of like him, but he's a 2. He's like a field
he's a
stretcher
two or a
more.
three. He's a two or a
Yeah,
three, and then they still
he's
got Claypool,
he's
right?
more of a dare, and he's got Claypool. Yeah,
And he's got Komet. And he's got some running backs now. They got rid of David
yep.
Montgomery, but they got
They have Rashawn Johnson
Roshan
and Herbert's
Johnson,
coming
and
back,
yep.
and
So they
Dante
got they got
Foreman. If
that guy could win
but
it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Justin
let's
Fields. We'll see.
let's talk about Jerry Judy. I knew you were going to roast me on this one. So, do you
I
want
mean,
me to
you
go first,
deserve it.
or do you want to go first? I'm
Jerry
prepared to
fucking.
defend.
I just
Yes,
don't know who else you had. So can you just read me your roster that you didn't choose the whole entirety of it?
yes.
Go.
Um, Joe Mixon and Aaron for the other considerations.
You took Jerry Judy over Aaron Jones?
Yes.
blasphemy. Why?
I'll tell you why. Aaron
Yeah,
Jones is a baller. Aaron Jones
uh-huh.
can fucking play football. That's why I kind of asked you about this earlier, because this is what I was struggling with here. First of all, I've kept Joe Mixon for 4 years.
Yeah,
I'm
he
kind.
stinks. I would get rid of him.
He had a game last year where he scored 5 touchdowns. It was a lot of fun for like 4 hours.
Right.
Um, that is way inflating his stats. He almost got cut in the offseason, and he still might get cut because they saved 10 million if he's not on the opening day roster, and that might help them sign T. Higgins and some more guys.
Right.
Um, so first of all, I'm breaking up with Joe Mixon. Out of
I
these three
agree.
guys,
I agree with that move.
I agree with these. I'm sorry. Out of these three guys, Joe Mixon, if you look at like all the experts, he is the highest rated of these three, right?
Sure.
So that that's already controversial. About 6 spots down or 10, whoever you're looking at overall, or in running back in like 2 or 3 spots down, you have Aaron Jones, who's a very good. He's one of the. If he was in another situation, he would be a very very good running back, I think. Here's the truth on Aaron Jones, and I almost kept him, by the way. So it was between Jones and Judy. Um, his small with Jordan Love isn't good. They have AJ Dillon.
Not
Love's
good.
more Love's a more of a running quarterback, so I'm not even sure if Jones is going to pick up a lot of receptions like he was supposed to last year, but didn't really. Um, but let me talk about Jerry Judy for a second, because
Okay.
yes, it seems crazy, right? I thought it was
Yeah.
crazy. I wasn't even considering him at first, but then I kind of looked at the numbers, man. Here's the problem with Jerry Judy. But besides Nathaniel Hackett last year and whatever the hell that was with Russ, uh, the dude is like clockwork has been clockwork to miss like 3 or 4 games a year. Last year, when he was on the field, the motherfucker put up points. Go back and look, especially later in the year. I'm hoping there's some old school Sean Payton magic. I used to ride Sean Payton magic back in the day with Drew Brees when I kept him forever. Maybe there's some Sean Payton magic here. I'm not too scared of Cortland Sutton. Marvin Mills is going to be a player someday. Not sure right away. I'm taking again the home run swing, and I think I have to do this, especially considering I like have no draft capital. So big swing, Jerry Judy, controversial. Go ahead.
So
And zero RB, obviously.
I mean,
Hit me. I know
I
it
just
looks it looks weird, right? He's the
I
top
just
20
don't I
receiver
don't
last year.
I just don't love I don't love the Broncos. I think Sean Payton is
Yeah.
installing his new offense with Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is fucking done.
He
He's a
might be
fucking
cooked.
weird. He's a weirdo,
Yeah,
and
speaking of
he
weirdos, I give Aaron Rodgers a lot of shit, but he's a clown too, by the way, Russ. I'm
Russell
not gonna.
Wilson is the biggest clown.
Yeah.
And I think
Speaking of
that
sponsored by Nugenics
he
or
was
whatever vitamin water is.
right, and his Instagram and his fucking everything he puts out is just weird.
He's married to Cialis or Sierra.
Ciara, yes. He's just so I don't trust him more than
Right.
anything. But
I don't either.
you also have you're not worried about Cortland Sutton, but I still think that the target share is going to be pretty even. So you're not even getting yourself, in my opinion, Denver's definite number one receiver this year.
Okay.
You might have just kept Denver's number two receiver over
I
Green
think
Bay's
he's
number
better.
one
He's a
running
better
back.
player. But
Yeah, I mean, dude, you did it. I can't. I'm just telling you. These are my thoughts. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully you're right. I mean,
well,
hopefully you're wrong because you're in my division. But hopefully for your sake, you're right.
yeah, I mean,
And Jerry
it
Judy
would
has a
have been
monster
easy to
year.
keep mixing again. It really would have. But
Yeah, and you
I,
know, one more year, right? One more year, run it back. But then you
does
would have
Aaron
been.
Jones really excite you this year? I was trying to talk myself
I
into it.
mean, he's probably going to be a top five pick, which isn't saying a. But who do you think's going? Oh, we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so let's move on here. Let's move on. I don't want to keep going in this
Fair
Jerry
enough.
Judy.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so Jed's got Cooper Cup. Oh no, this is sorry. Jed's got Christian McCaffrey, no brainer. Rashad White,
Rashad White.
who I believe is the starter in Tampa Bay. Is that correct?
Leave two. I haven't honestly looked, but
And Jeff Wilson Jr., who
yeah,
is
who is
is he
also
the
on.
he's part of the backfield in
So,
the on the Dolphins.
all right. So I do have to defend Cortland and Jeff Wilson for a second. They are on my dynasty team. I picked them up for different reasons. Although Jeff Wilson, man, I picked him up because at the end of last year he was kind of taken over. Like, remember they acquired him. I
Yeah, they
mean
got him from the
that
Niners at the trade deadline because
that that's a fun defense offense, but
they run the
yeah,
ball well. He knows
I,
the system. He
yeah.
played well with him and Mostert.
Mostert's
The
made of
problem,
glass,
but
but
so is
so is
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think wrapping up two starting running backs and whatever Jeff Wilson may be, I don't know what his other options were besides Jeff
So
Wilson.
I'm looking at this, and I don't know when Gabe Davis was drafted last year. Maybe
I
he
think
didn't
early.
qualify.
I
Yeah,
think early. I
like
think he
like,
took him in the
like he's
fourth
always
round.
hyped, right? He's always fucking hyped, Gabe Davis.
Right.
Yeah, he's leaving. Again, these guys might not have eligibility. Josh Allen, Elijah Miller, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, David. This is a top heavy team that I don't think he can keep any of those guys. So
No, I think it was either McCaffrey or Allen, right? So
yeah,
he did. I think he did the
he
best he
did all
could with
right.
what he had.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's got Greg Dulcich, which I just will say Sean Payton's really tough. Speaking of number one receiver.
Well, he definitely left. He put Adam Troutman ahead of him on the first depth chart, but that may be just
Oh,
some
did he?
motivational Sean Payton bullshit. So
Whoops.
yeah. So nothing to fucking nothing to scoff at here.
All
Then
right.
we got Mark. Mark's got Cooper Cup, St. Brown, and Tony Pollard. I mean, this is a really good keeper.
Once again, Mangone is really good at this. That's all I got to say. I hate to say it. I don't fucking like complimenting people, but respect to this. Really hard to argue with this, right?
The only
That's
thing I'll
like
say is Cooper Cup is getting a little older, and he's
yeah,
been banged up in the last 2 years, and hopefully
and it's Matt
Stafford is ready to.
Stafford and yeah,
But Stafford said he's back and he's just recovered from everything he was dealing with last year. St. Brown is a no brainer as a two and under, and Tony Pollard is a no brainer as a third
no
and
brainer,
later,
right?
seventh and later.
Is he
So
he's like a top 10 running back coming into the year, right?
I would say
Pollard.
so. Yeah, definitely.
Um, we will so good job, Mark. We will see about Houston Massage Oilers. He's the guy I haven't heard from.
Yep. Eric
Uh,
Eric has not come back to you. He's a busy guy. He's doing
yeah,
lawyer
it's fine.
things, doing lawyer things. But
I'm
he'll
sure
he'll
he's
get it to
watching right
you
now.
in right. He'll get it to you in time for the deadline. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no
So now
worries.
we got John's team here: Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Waddle, and Jamal Williams. Again, I got nothing bad to say here. Mahomes is the number one quarterback every year for the last few years. Can't complain. Jalen Waddle is a receiver, a target whore, and Jamal Williams. I'm surprised he's a seventh. Oh, he was the Detroit back that's now in
Yep,
New Orleans, right? So
he's always performs way over his ranking every year.
yeah, yeah. So that's this is
Going
this
back to
is
the
there's
Green
nothing
Bay
wrong with this.
days.
He led the
Yeah,
league in touchdowns last year. This is
yep.
great keepers. Was thinking it was the
Um,
Denver back that had the torn ACL.
oh
No,
no,
this is a great. This is a great.
Javante, yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah,
is great
man.
keepers right here.
And he went to the title game last year, and these are decent keepers, and he made the right choices. I mean, rounds there, but or actually, he kept Mahomes over Chubb. You have any issue with that?
No, I don't love Nick Chubb. He's a workhorse, but he doesn't catch many balls, and I don't know. I don't know what that offense is going to look like. Cleveland is a team.
Yeah.
Every year, I got a couple teams that I try to avoid players on, and
Except that
Cleveland.
year you made Baker your centerpiece.
Yes, that was a really bad year. But no, I'm saying year to year, like I'll pick different teams based on what I think. And I don't know what
Yeah.
to make of Cleveland this year with
Yeah.
Watson being like
I
pretty
agree.
much 2 years removed. I mean, he played a
Oh
little at the
man,
end.
they were savage on the why your team sucks with Cleveland, especially
Uh,
Watson.
I can't wait.
Um,
So I
yeah.
got no complaints here with John.
Yeah.
He had a good and he'll draft the fucking 49er running back in the first round who's 75 years old, and then he'll take a bunch of guys that he'll take the best value
Roger
guy
Craig.
while everyone's like that guy's old or that guy, I don't trust that guy, and he'll just take those guys, and either
And he'll end
he'll
up
have a
putting up
great
to
year.
10 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll either have a great year or he'll have a miserable year because either the guys fall off a cliff or they don't. But John is always consistent. And then
He is.
finally we got
Well,
Josh here.
he'll also like try to draft Eric Ebron and forget he's not anymore.
Yes,
But
he will always take some random line. Well, and
right,
Jamal Williams
it's
fucked
got to
that
be
up for
one.
him. Now he's gonna have to take a random lion at this point.
Another
So
one. Yeah, the Khalif Raymond. Step on up.
there you go. There you go.
Um, all right.
Finally, Tyreek
Finally,
Hill.
well, what we've all been waiting for. Let's get angry at Josh.
Let's get angry at Josh. Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Tyler Lockett. Now let's look at who he had, because on paper I don't have any problems with Hill, Olave, or Lockett. He's got three number one, one number one receiver and two number twos, but like ascending is Olave, and Lockett's always performs like a 1B. He may not be a 1A, but he's a 1B. So who could he have kept instead?
So between for the franchise, it was
Or
Tyreek or it was Jalen Hurts. Your thoughts?
I think he made the right
Or
decision.
Stephon Diggs. Sorry, I should mention Diggs as well because
I think
he's a badass.
between all the case can be made for all three of them.
Maybe even Saquon. He's got Saquon on his roster.
I don't know, man. Maybe you keep Saquon, but it depends on what you're trying to do with your roster construction. I think quarterbacks as a keeper, if it's not Mahomes, is even if it is Mahomes, it's not something that I really want to do because
Dude, you kept Aaron Rodgers for like a decade.
I did and I won with him, but I also lost with him a lot because I gave up other pieces
I
because I
lost a
didn't
lot with
want to.
Breeze, hanging on to
Right,
Breeze those years. Yeah,
right. From that is that keeping even the best quarterbacks, keeping
yeah,
them, you're going to have your shot to get them in the second and third round, and somewhat, if not them, somewhat close to them. You
it's
know.
true. I mean, even with all the passing that's blown up, and yeah, I can't argue with that. So, like, and Tyreek, by the way, won this guy the league last year. He just fucking went off, especially starting in like week 6 or 7, right?
Yep.
Um, which again is hard to argue. I'm a huge Stephon Diggs fan, and obviously Tyreek Hill is not a great person at all. I would really
But I will say
fucking
this:
hate rooting for him, but
I
yeah,
should have kept Tyreek Hill
you
last year
should have
instead of Alvin Kamara, and I
definitely.
traded away Alvin Kamara, and it ruined my season. And if I had
Yeah,
kept Tyreek Hill, I would have made the playoffs. I
yep.
wouldn't have fucking sold off, and we wouldn't
Well,
be
you
having
might
the
have
same
still sold him
conversation.
off, but yeah,
Maybe I think I would have made the playoffs if I had Tyreek. Kamara
yeah.
missed like half the season, and Lamar missed half the season. But I may have pivoted to getting a quarterback instead of dumping everybody.
And by
So
the way, you make a decent point about running backs. I feel like wide receivers in general are a little more safe year to
they
year.
are.
Do you agree? That's another reason why when it was close, I went with the receiver here, Judy.
I think you have obviously the NFL is more of a pass happy league now. You throw the ball a lot more. You had some blah running backs to choose between in your defense, like
Yeah,
mid tier guys that'll
third,
probably
fourth
go in the
rounders
first.
in regular drafts.
Yeah, they'll probably be second or third rounders in our draft. Maybe Aaron Jones and Mixon will sneak into the back half of the first round, but
Yeah, maybe in
maybe.
our draft, but like in a normal,
But
like just
and
Yahoo
that's
league.
to be completely honest with you, that's how I always do tiebreakers when I can't decide who I want to keep
Yeah.
is which guy is going to be drafted first. And so I probably would have kept Mixon just
Oh,
because
yeah. See,
of that
I've had
tiebreaker.
more success just banking on receivers and then figuring out running backs. So I'm gonna try it again this year with
Yeah.
no picks. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
But
And
but no,
yeah, good luck to you.
I totally get you anyone ripping Jerry Judy over Joe Mixon or Aaron. I get it. I just don't want to fucking deal with Joe Mixon.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And Tyler Lockett is consistent. The guy's going to catch 70 balls for a
Oh man,
thousand
yeah,
yards
he will.
and like 8 touchdowns, and
Do you think
that's great out of your seventh or later.
Gino's going to regress this year? By the way, do you have any thoughts on Gino?
I don't. I haven't. I almost kept him. Didn't almost keep him. I wasn't going to keep him as a seventh or later over Christian or over Calvin Ridley, but I mean, he was the number 6 quarterback in fantasy last year. He's got 2 stud receivers, and he had 10 years to learn how to play quarterback and be
Yeah,
the understudy in
which
Seattle
is
for the
way
last like
underrated.
4. And he always had the talent. Gino's problem was never talent. It was his between his ears.
Yeah,
He was a head case. He was arrogant. He thought
it's
that
a
he was better than he
problem for a
was.
lot of guys, right?
Yeah, and he always thought that everyone was like against him. And you know, and he had this stupid chip on his shoulder that he
Especially the
thought he
guys that
deserved.
were punching him in the face.
I mean, dude, you know what? At the end of the day, like the guy IK in whatever the fuck his name was that punched him in the face. At the end of the day, like that guy's an idiot for punching his quarterback, his starting quarterback in the face. But Gino's an idiot because he owed the guy like $500.
Yeah, come
Just
on, man.
you're the fucking starting quarterback. That guy's like a walk-on undrafted rookie.
The
You
special
have
teams
millions
dude,
of
yeah.
dollars, and you couldn't pay the guy. The guy wanted to get first for his fucking ticket. Like you're the quarterback. You're supposed to lead the team. Give the first of all, you should have shown up. That was the problem. He didn't show up to the football camp the dude put on, ghosted him, and then didn't pay him back for the ticket that he paid. And it was definitely a principle thing, and it was
Yeah,
stupid. But it showed that he was a bad leader at the time. I think he's
absolutely.
learned. I think he's learned a lot over the last 10 years because it took him 10 years to get to where he's at. And so, I don't think he regresses. I think maybe he throws a few more interceptions, but he threw 30 touchdowns last year and he only threw like 6 interceptions. He's
Yeah,
always been a super accurate quarterback. It was
yeah.
always his decision making. So now he's making better decisions on and off the field. Why can't he have another top 10 quarterback, fantasy quarterback? I don't see that being out of the realm. I don't think people are
What
going to want to touch him because I think they think it's going to a 1 year
he's
wonder.
he's still got his that stank on him, right? He's got to do it again.
He's got to do it
But
again. So he'll either be a late round. I'm sure he'll fall to the late rounds, and he'll either be like a late round guy that someone's excited about. He'll be
someone's
a
backup.
dud, right? Yeah, exactly. So man, I think this was a great show, Dougie. I enjoyed
This
myself.
was
I
same
think
here.
our 4 viewers enjoyed themselves, and I think
I
when this
could
comes out
we could
on
talk about a
YouTube,
lot more players too, but yeah, we should call it.
I think we should call it. It's
Yeah.
almost 8:30 your
Oh
time.
shit.
I gotta
Yeah,
take the
I haven't
wife
had
out for
dinner.
dinner tonight. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
all
You
right.
need to eat. I need to eat.
I don't really have a Via con Dios. The guy who directed French Connection and a bunch of other movies, I can't
I
think
got
who
a
died,
Via con Dios. I got a Via con
but
Dios.
Robbie Robertson died. Who you got?
Vio con Dios, Joe Mixon, franchise player for the Stam Pigs. It's been
four
about four
years,
years.
4 years of zero
Yes.
playoff wins, probably off the top of my
Yes.
head.
Yes. Time to move on. So Vio con Dios, Joe. Hopefully you don't get also Vio con Dios by the Bengals at the end of training camp.
I know, right? Speaking of teams that need a running back, I mean that kept me around for a second because it's like Chase Brown, Chris Evans, Travion Williams, really, and maybe Joe Mixon does go off, probably.
Maybe. Well, with Burrow out for the first 6 weeks, that's also a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
Whoa,
all right,
six
man.
first 6 weeks.
Well, that's what Jamar said. He said, I don't expect him to come back till week 6. So,
Oh, I thought you said like don't come back week 1, dude.
no, that's what the team said. Chase talked to the media separately and said, I don't expect Burrow to come back until week 6.
I already have heartburn for this fantasy season. It's going to be a bad one. I
All
hate you
right,
all.
audience, it has been great. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.